Jill, and let me say once more how much we appreciate the support of the embassy through the years, and we look forward to a continued close cooperation for another 60, at least. The Fulbright Board is a crucial part of the Commission. These talented and dedicated individuals, experts in their respective fields, are making a difference in giving back through the work that they do for Fulbright Iceland. The Fulbright Commission is fortunate to have them. Now it is time for the chairman of the Fulbright Board, Dr. Albert Vernon Smith, to say a few words. Albert has a PhD in biology from MIT. He's the director of statistical genetics at the Icelandic Heart Association, and he's an assistant professor at the University of Iceland.
So, distinguished guests, Minister Christian Thor and Social Affair Esposito and other distinguished guests, I wanted to say a few words on behalf of the board. I actually wanted to start, I planned on starting with the same quote that Jill just highlighted, because it's, as it stands in the program, it says, bringing a little more knowledge, reason, and compassion to the world. And I think it's important to recognize, that's what's on the program, it's important to recognize the second part, which I think today and as the world stands, it's incredibly important to remember, which is thereby increasing the chance the nations will learn at last to live in peace and friendship. And to echo what Belinda just said, that as we can go on for hopefully another 60 years, that those values can be perpetuated by programs such as the Fulbright and the exchanges that come with it. And I just wanted to give a few remarks on the the people who have actually gone through the exchange, because over the 60 years of the program, there have been 922 Icelanders that have gone to the U.S. in exchange, and there are 511 Americans that have come to Iceland as part of the exchange. And the Icelandic students and scholars have been hosted by more than 250 different institutions in the U.S., covering a wide everywhere in the U.S. essentially, going from New York to Hawaii, Chicago to Texas, Alaska to Alabama, going to institutions of all sorts, and very popular or common destinations where many Icelanders have gone have included the University of Minnesota, Harvard, University of California, Columbia, Stanford, many of the top institutions in the United States. And the Icelanders have been very successful in gaining access to academic work in very top institutions, and then been able to return to Iceland with this knowledge that they can come back and share and have great academic exchange. And we're going to hear from a few of them later this afternoon. And then, conversely, for the Americans that have come here, the U.S. Fulbright students, scholars, and specialists that have come here have come to a wide variety of institutions, including all the universities in Iceland, and gone to many other different places, and to a wide variety of other places, including the Icelandic Printmakers Association, Orkustofnun, the National Gallery of Iceland, covering a wide breadth of knowledge and experience here in Iceland. And so Iceland, just to sort of end, Iceland is a small academic community, and it's extremely valuable for universities and research institutions to have exchanges with outside academics and people of extreme knowledge and experience, because those outside perspectives greatly add to the perspectives that come in Iceland, but it also goes conversely, where the Icelandic perspectives are very valuable in contributing to institutions in the U.S. And many of these scholars, both those that come here as well as Icelanders that go abroad, continue to maintain the relationships and collaborate long after the Fulbright is over, because the Fulbright is just a program you're in for perhaps a year, but it establishes relationships and knowledge and exchange that lasts a lifetime, and that's actually quite important. So I want to thank everyone for coming today, and I think Belinda's going to say something next. I don't know exactly what happens next. I don't have the program memorized, so thank you.
Yes, I would like to actually, and thank you, Albert, so much, and I'd like to point out that the Fulbright board members serve on a volunteer basis. And so I'd actually like to ask all the Fulbright board members, current and past, who are in the room to stand up for a round of applause. wanted to follow up that the minister talked about earlier was that, as many of you know, we've been working in the past years, the board and myself, to bring some innovations to the work of the Commission and to bring focus to areas where we feel Fulbright can do more. And the main effort in this has been centered on the Arctic, as the minister mentioned. And I'd like to actually note that we have with us today Fulbright alumna Lilja Dögg Alfredsdóttir, who last year as Minister for Foreign Affairs signed an agreement with the Commission to continue the Fulbright Ministry for Foreign Affairs Arctic Scholar Grants, which was started as a pilot project by her predecessor, but she then decided to continue. So thank you, Lilja, for recognizing the value of having a Fulbright Arctic focus, and I think we should also give her a little round of applause. Ég mun tala aðeins meira Norðurskautssamstarfið aðeins seinna í dag, en núna ætlum við að snúa okkur að öðru. Hinrik Bjarnason fór á Fulbright-styrk til Bandaríkjanna árið 1959. Þetta var 3. árið sem Fulbright var starfandi á Íslandi, þannig að hann man þessi upphafsár og hvernig var að vera hluti af Fulbright þá. Hann ætlar að